Britton here. There have been a lot of requests for tutorials showing how to add shadows to a coloring, and today I'm going to demonstrate a couple of very easy ways to add shadows to your work and make the elements really come to life. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my tables here with the wood brush tool, which is in our brush menu here. And I'm just going to use a basic brown and fill that in. Of course, you can make your table any color, any texture you want. Okay, dropping these in. I'm going to use the advanced mode. I like this mode and I pop into it a lot. I find it simplifies things. Okay, so got our basic tables, colors in there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do very simple shadows. And what you want to do is you want to be with your airbrush tool with a dark color, and you just start following the contours of your object. So this is kind of a slightly rounded pot here. So I'm adding shading around the edges. The general rule of thumb here is that any curved surface, the center of it is going to be closest to your imagined light source, and therefore the lightest, and the parts that are further away will be a little darker. So if you can imagine that there's a light coming from somewhere, and in my picture here, the light is going to be coming from kind of the left-hand side. And the same technique can be applied around objects that are kind of in front of each other. So like this kitten here is in front of the other two, and I want to make him sort of look like he has depth. Okay, and now I'm going to show you guys how to cast more detailed shadows. I've showed you how to cast that sort of basic rounded shadows. So now I'm going to show you something a little more finely detailed. So I'm going to stick with my airbrush tool, and I'm going to stick with my grayscale color, and I'm just going to drop in some rough shadows under here, and we're going to refine them and make them more detailed in a minute. So I'm imagining that there is a light source off to my left, and it is shining toward the table, and the table is casting a shadow underneath it. And be sure to pay attention to details like, for example, in this image, we have the table legs. So it wouldn't just be a round shadow underneath, it would be a shadow that follows the shape of the table. And this part, it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to go in and we're going to refine it. Okay, so now I'm using my eraser tool, and I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to clean it up around the edges, make it sharp, make it neat. And the great thing about this is no matter how many times you mess up, you can always go back and fix it. That's the awesome thing about digital coloring. Okay, so I've got my refined shadows in there. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add tiny little shadow details around things like our kitten's bell collar. I'm going to do the little flower on her head. And this is, again, just the airbrush tool. You'll find that the airbrush tool is outstanding for adding shadows in your images. And shadows, by the way, are probably the number one thing that's going to bring your images to life and make them look really rich and detailed and interesting. I'm going to do this guy's ears here, show you how the edge of his ear can look like it's casting a shadow. And these tiny, tiny little details are what's going to make your picture stand out from others. So easy to do. Anyone can do this. And play with it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to start over. Okay, so there you go. Casted shadows. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you have ideas for future tutorials, please comment below. This is Britton for Pigment, and as always, thank you for watching.